Hello everyone. If you all have been wondering how a topper calculates his calculations insanely fast, then this video is for you. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा जब भी कोई क्लास में कोचिंग में कोई क्वेश्चन दिया जाता है तो एक टॉपर होता है ना, वो जल्दी से जल्दी सब आंसर्स निकाल लेता है. वो कैसे निकालता है? बिकॉज ही नोज द कैलकुलेशंस, हाउ टू ईज विद द कैलकुलेशंस. So that's what we are going to discuss here. Suppose I'm going to discuss a very basic trick of multiplication by 99. Let's say you have a number 99. I call this number as a magical number. You multiply this number with any number you take. Let's say 87. 87. We'll take 87. Now, what you are going to do is you're going to subtract this number by 1, right? So it would be 86. Now you will mark 2 blank spaces ahead. Now what you have to do is you have to make the first and third sum 9 and second and fourth sum as 9. So what should I add in this place to make it 9? It should be 1. And what should I put here to make it 9? It should be 3. So the answer is 8613, right? Now we have another number. Let's say you take any other number. Can we apply this trick to a one-digit number? Let's say 9. Can we apply this to that? Yes, obviously we can. So what we are going to do is we are going to subtract -1 from it. So we are going, instead of writing 8, we are going to write 08, and then we'll mark 2 spaces ahead. And then what should I write here to make it 9? It has to be 9. And then here what should I do to make it 9? It has to be 1. So the answer is 891. It is as simple as that. 999, right? And you take any 3-digit number, you say. Let's say 876. 876. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to subtract -1 from it. I'm going to write it as 875 and I'm going to put 3 blank spaces ahead of it. Now first and third would become 9. In order to make it 9, I'll have to make it as 1. In order to make this as 9, I'll have to put here 2. And in order to make this as 9, I'll have to put it here 4. So in that way, the answer is 875124. So in that way, you can see that how easy it is to calculate such calculations. I'm going to show you another calculation trick, which is a multiplication by 11. Let's say you want to multiply any number by 11. Okay, let's say for example we'll take 33, right? We are doing 33, right? So what we are going to do, we put 33 like that, and then we'll put one middle space between these two numbers, and in here we are going to put the sum of these two numbers, which is 363, right? So it is as simple as that. So will that trick work on the higher numbers? Let's see, let's try to find out how that can happen. Suppose I want to multiply here with, let's say 77. Let's say any number 77. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write 77 like that. I'll put a middle space here, and then the sum of 7 plus 7 is 14. I'll write 4 here, and then 1 would go carry, and then it would become 8. So the answer is 847. So remember, although I am trying to solve it on board here, all you have to do is you'll have to solve it in your mind. So in that way, you can see you can multiply any number with 11. Now there is another trick which we use. Suppose these are numbers which ends with 5. What are the numbers which ends with 5? Let's say 25, 35, 45, 55, or let's say 105, right? So these are the numbers which ends with 5s. So you can easily calculate their squares. Suppose I want to calculate 25 square. What I'm going to do is 5 square I'll write as 25. What is 1 ahead of 2 is 3, right? And then I'll multiply this. You will get 2 into 3 is 625. Similarly, if I want to calculate 35 square, right? I'll write 25 here. Then what is 3 plus 1? It is 4. I'll multiply 3 into 4 and I'll make it as 122. Similarly, if I want to find the square of 55 square, let's say, I will write it here as 25. Then 5 plus 1 would be 6. I'll multiply here. 5 into 6 is 3. This is 30. So in that way you can easily calculate those squares of the numbers which are ending with 5. Now coming to squares, right? If we are talking about squares, we cannot leave the trick that I am going to tell you here. Numbers which lies between 91 to 110, right? This is for the numbers, right? Suppose if I want to find the square of 91 square. So remember, here we take base as 100, right? So in that way we can see that number 91 is how much less from 100. It is less by 9 only. It is less by 9 only. So we are going to subtract 9 from 91, which is 82, right? And then we will put a square here. 9 square is 81. Here is your answer. Similarly, I'll give you another example to give you a better understanding of the same concept. Suppose we got to find the square of 95 square, right? 95 square. Although we can easily find it through the numbers ending with 5 square, but suppose we are going to solve it with this familiarity, right? So here it is how much less by 100? It is less by 5. So 95 minus 5 would be 90, and then square of 5 would be 25. Okay, so in that way you can easily find out the squares of these. Now I can also find those numbers which are in the hundreds. Let's say 102. If I want to find the square of 102, it is how much more than 100? It is 2 more than 100. So 2 plus 102 is 104, and then 2 square, instead of writing as 4, you will write it as 04. So this is your answer. I have another trick for your squares options. You can easily find the squares in a very simplified manner. Let me tell you how. Suppose you want to find the squares of the numbers which lies between 41 to 60. For these squares, if we are talking about, we are going to deal with that. Suppose we want to find the square of, let's say, 49 square. Here the main thing is to understand that from 91 to 110 you are taking the base as 100, but here we'll take the base as 25. We'll take the base as 25. So here we have to understand that how much is it less by 50? It is less by 1 only. So we are going to subtract 1 from 25. We are going to subtract 1 from 25. So the answer would be 24. And what is the square of 1? It is 01. So the answer would be this, 2401. Now suppose, I'll give you another example for your better understanding. Let's say 45 square, right? 45 square. So how much is it less by 50? It is 5 less by 50. Now, so what we are going to do? We are going to subtract 5 from 25. So 25 minus 5 is 20, and then square of 5 is 25. So here is your answer. Now let's say 54. If I want to find the square of 54, what we can do is, how much is it more by 50? It is plus 4 by 50. So we are taking the base as 25. So 25 plus 4 is 29, and then 4 square is 16. So the answer is 2916. So in that way you can see how you can easily find out these things. There is calculation given to you is 23 into 27, or let's say 22 into 28, or let's say 33 into 37, or let's say 32 into 38, or let's say 42 into 48, or 43 into 47, or let's say 44 into 46. Anything which is being given, right? So here we'll have to understand that these numbers are equidistant from one number, which is 25, and we know the square of 25 through our 5 square tricks that we have already studied. So here what we are going to do is, we can write this as 25 minus 2 into 25 plus 2, and for this we know an identity which is a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. So in that way we can write this as 25 square minus 2 square, so which is 625 minus 4, which is 621. So this is how easily you can find these things. Similarly, let's say we'll take this 32 into 38. if we want to find 32 into 38, what we are going to do is, we are going to write this as 35 minus 3 into 35 plus 3, right? And we know 35 square minus 9. So 35 square is 1225 minus 9, which is 1216. Okay. So in that way, easily you can find these things. So suppose the numbers are this 23 into 27, 28 rather. 23 into 28. Now here, it is very important to understand that these numbers are not equidistant. These are skewed rather, right? So in that way, what we have to do is, we can easily solve it through a trick. Firstly, we'll take a higher number. You select any higher number, which is in case is this. So you'll write 28, and then you will add the unit digit of this smaller number into this. So which is 31, right? Which is 31. Now, since this 10th digit is same, so we are going to multiply this by 2, which is 62. We'll put another 0 here, and then we will plus 3 into 8 is 24. So we'll write this as 644. I hope you got an idea what I am talking about. Okay. If you have not understood, I can give you another example. Let's say we'll take it 22 into 27. Suppose we can take 22 into 27. Now in that case, the highest number is 27. The highest number is 27. So with this, the unit digit of smaller number you will add here. You will get 29. Since the 10th digit is same, so whatever the 10th digit may be, you are going to multiply by that only. So you will get 5, 8. You will put another 0 here, and then you will get 2 into 7, 14. You will get plus 14. This is 4, this is 9, this is 594. So in that way, you can see how easily you can calculate these things. Let's say you want to multiply any number by 25 into 32. Now you will take multiplication and all those things together. But instead, what I would advise you is, consider this number as a very fascinating number, right? So you can multiply 4 and you can divide 4 as well. So now consider this as your main thing. If you divide the number by 4, in that case it would be 8 only. And what you got to know, when you are multiplying by 25, you got to divide that number by 4, and then you have to put 2 zeros. That's it. That's all it takes. Now let's say 25 into 36. 36. What we are going to do is 4 times 9 is 36, and then we'll put 2 zeros. So this is as simple as it could get, right? So you'll have to make mental calculations to make your calculations very simplified, and then only you will be able to save a lot of time in your examination. There is one more trick, and we will end our session. Suppose you know a square of a number, but you want to know the square of the next digit. Let's say you know the number of 40 square, right? It is 1600, everyone knows that. Now if you want to know the square of 41 square, how will we be able to do that? So for this, what we are going to do is, we are going to multiply this number as 2 by 2, which would be 82, and then we will subtract minus 1 from it, which would be 81, and then we will add this into this, which would become 1681. I hope you got an idea. If you haven't got the idea, I'll give you another example. Let's say you are taking the example of 31 square. So for 31 square, you know the 30 square answer is 900, right? So for 31, you will multiply by 2, you will get 62, you will subtract minus 1 from it, you will get 61, and then you will add it here. So overall you will get an answer of 961. So this is how you can simplify your calculations in order to make them so easy for you. It will be so time saving for you in the examinations. So guys, if you have any query regarding these things, you can comment. I'll try to solve your query as much as I can. And if you want me to provide you new lectures on any specific mathematics topics, I'll definitely do that, whether it's class 11, 12 mathematics, whether it's engineering mathematics, whether it's UPSC optional mathematics. I think I'll be your best guide to take you forward in your journey. So till then, good night.